Gen Z's aging epidemic. Let's go.
Sometimes I subject myself to competitive video games that attract a younger demographic, like Valorant, and a few weeks ago I got destroyed
Bro said subject myself, acting like Valorant is not a decent game, bro. Like, it's a good game, bro. And I should probably mention this right now. I know there's a bit of a scenery change. I am kind of in a favela right now, so make of that as you wish. I'm with the rats, bro. You get what I'm saying? Keep your eyes behind there, bro. Ratatouille might fucking pop up, bro.
by some kids for how old I was. I don't remember how the conversation got to this point, but I eventually said something like, I graduated high school in 2015. And after that, everyone on my team started referring to me as Unk. Unk? Really, man? I was born in 1997. I'm only 28 years old. I'm still
Fucking hell. 1997, bro. You beyond unk, bro. You grank. Grank. You grunk, bro. Like, you granddad, bro. Like, fuck. Where's your grandkids, bro? Fuck you doing, bro? Damn, 1997. That's like shit, bro. That's insane. Anything before 2000 is unk, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, you don't know what skibbity toilet is. You don't know what tung 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 sahur is, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you unk. You out of the loop, gang.
considered Gen Z. They quizzed me on new internet acronyms like SYBAU, which stands for Shut Your Ass Up, and were shocked that I was able to guess right. I'd have to assume that younger
Bro had to make sure that we knew that he knows what that means, bro. He had to spell it out on the screen. All right, bro, we get it. You're not that out of the loop, bro. Trying to prove to us that he ain't unk, bro. Low key, you is unk, bro. You is unk. He was born in 1990 something, bro. You unk as hell, bro.
generations have always thought people in their late 20s are way older than they actually are, but it feels like Gen Z, maybe more than previous generations, see aging and getting old as a thing to be avoided at all costs. And ironically enough, sentiments are being shared online about Gen Z looking much older than millennials.
I'm 25.
God damn, bro. Now, low key, he does. It's the skin, bro. The skin. He does look 25. It's just the bald, bro. Excuse he bald as hell. It's the beard, bro. Like, he's got youthful. Like, he looks youthful, bro. It's just the beard. It's cooking him, bro. And the fact he bald as hell, bro. Like, what the fuck is this, bro?
I'm not even gonna pretend like I look like what a 25-year-old should look like.
I don't like to just assume that the general opinion is fact because a few popular media outlets reported on it and then a bunch of creators decided to make videos for higher engagement, kind of like me. So why don't we actually see what's going on with ageism and aging in Gen Z? How beauty standards have shifted, how technology and science created new
Brian Johnson, bro. I was just about to mention him, bro. He the anti-unk, bro. Brian Johnson, low key, he could be 300 years old. He ain't unk. Because his organs are like the age of a newborn, bro. You get what I'm saying? He inside, outside, he unk. Inside, bro, he low key like ahead of us, bro. He the reverse of unk. He trendy, bro. You get what I'm saying? His organs be trendy.
possibilities and unrealistic expectations for immortality, and why some Gen Z might feel immense pressure to rack up millions before they reach 18. Can we all agree that beauty standards are absolutely cooked? Dudes will see a picture of Ice Spice without makeup, then call her chopped with a dead rose emoji, not realizing they just exposed themselves as never having stayed the night with a woman before.
Nah, you see, you're being more disrespectful than he is, bro. No, women don't usually like, bro. It's like, nah. I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying, bro. Like, this is ice, no spice. You know what I'm just. I'm taking the piss, bro. But now, not every girl like. I can't. I don't know how to do this while being politically neutral, bro. Like, I want to be kid friendly, bro. But fucking hell.
I'm not saying you have to find every celebrity attractive, but if you're a guy and every picture you see of a woman without makeup leaves you repulsed, you've either let social media completely warp your standards, or you might just like men. Sorry to break that to you. What we frequently choose to consume through our eyes
Bro,
and
no, bro. I don't. I disagree with this guy heavily, bro. Not finding a woman attractive, or saying that her looks are mostly makeup, that doesn't make you fucking gay, bro. Like, oh, he's trying to use it as a statement. Oh, if you don't like women when they don't have their makeup on, you're gay. No, bro. Just some women look better with makeup on. Actually, almost all of them do. Most makeup is meant to make you look better. Yeah, and Ice Spice without makeup is objectively worse looking. You get what I'm saying, bro? So there's no. I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking right now. I've burnt the food, bro.
Years drastically affects how we perceive the world and establishes a baseline
No hate to Ice Spice, bro. I'm low key a munch.
for each of those things. If you grow up in a culture where people say hi to you as you walk by them, it will feel weird when someone doesn't. If you get most of your dopamine from highly stimulating sources, any slow, monotonous task is going to feel painful. And if you spend most of your time engaging with humans on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, where people post how they look 1% of the time, often with filters and touch-ups included, anytime you aren't on those platforms, average or even objectively very attractive people are just going to look okay to you. No other generation has dealt with this at the scale at which it is present today. The pillars of beauty, influencers and celebrities spamming Botox and other injections, are quietly deciding that this is what young people should aspire to look like. And as a result, these treatments have become socially acceptable for people who aren't even old enough to get a tattoo. This is a big reason we are seeing the sentiment shared that Gen Z is not aging well, especially in regards to women. There are countless examples of women in their late teens and early 20s getting Botox and lip filler to enhance their appearance, either too young to understand the consequences or too young to care. Botox comes with a
There's not really. Oh, okay, go on.
host of side effects, including vision problems, muscle weakness, and even drooping eyelids for weeks after injection. And the thing about these treatments is they don't even necessarily give you the beauty you were striving for. They just make you look older than you actually are. The pressure to look both youthful but mature enough to have a sophisticated look instead of a childish look is certainly something young people feel now more than ever, and it's even spread to guys too in the form of looks maxing. We got this clavicular guy I brought up a couple videos ago promoting Botox, injecting testosterone and
Was he injecting her with Botox, bro? Holy shit, was that a needle? Damn.
bone smashing to improve your jawline. Not familiar with bone smashing, you say? This is a pseudoscientific protocol in which one repeatedly hits their cheekbones with a hard object to create microfractures that are supposed to help them grow back bigger. And that's another thing indicative of youth that the youth clearly wants to get rid of: chubby cheeks. When we're young, fat in the face is evenly distributed, but it has pockets that plump up in places like the forehead and the cheeks. But what's a beauty standard that's considered highly aspirational now? Hollow cheeks. So we have teenagers who watch videos like this, a video that's already gotten 1 million views in 3 weeks, doing gua sha, 1 million different
I've seen the same exact video, actually. Not watched it, but I've seen it recommended to me. That's crazy.
facial treatments, and maybe even Ozempic just to reach a
No comment, man. No comment. I'm not trying to get. I've got 100 subs, bro. I can't be getting cancelled this early, bro.
face that was normally reserved for old people. Having more fat in your face actually fills out wrinkles and fine lines, making them less noticeable and making you look younger. So the sad irony is that in the process of pursuing eternal youth, Gen Z ends up looking older than if they were just to let their bodies naturally age, further contributing to their body image issues. Another factor that might play a role in this idea of aging being bad is, weirdly, how much emphasis we're placing on biohacking and optimization. One person leading this cause I want to talk about is Brian Johnson. Now, I think Brian's a great guy, and he's promoted some amazing protocols to help people live healthier, happier lives. But what I don't necessarily agree with him on is the way that he talks about immortality.
Let me ask you this: with that, do you actually think it might be that you won't die?
Bro, imagine he's alive, like, fucking hell. Imagine he outlives all of us, bro. Just Brian Johnson's the only guy alive, bro. This guy's gonna survive the. If a meteor hit, Brian Johnson has something planned, bro. I already know, bro. I actually believe he might survive forever, bro. Because imagine we came just at the wrong time, bro. I truly believe in the future we're gonna have the level of medicine good enough where we don't even die anymore, bro. Like, we just genuinely can't die. What are we gonna die of? A heart attack? We've got artificial hearts, lungs, we've got artificial everything. Get what I'm saying? Like, we're so close to that point, but I don't think it's gonna be our generation, bro. But Brian, bro, low-key, he might be immortal. I'm not even joking, man.
At all, or just you're looking to extend your lifestyle or lifetime beyond what now we consider possible?
I think it's legitimately the first time any human in history could say with a straight face, we may be the first generation to not die.
How does that statement make you feel? I don't know about you, but the idea of living forever just sucks. Unless you absolutely hate the idea of getting old and you have an intense fear of it, I can't see why you would want to extend your lifespan indefinitely. What I'm picturing right now is like an extremely
Bro, it's like asking, why wouldn't you want to die right now? Like, would you want to die right now? No. No, you wouldn't. So, you want to live, yeah, you want to extend your life. Like, what? This is a dumb argument, bro. I'm sorry, you lost me on this one, bro.
Senile guy in a robo suit. He's just like drooling at the lips, and half of his brain is just like digitized at this point to keep him alive. And this is a huge problem I have with the longevity industry. A lot of the time, it's not focused on treating aging with acceptance and grace, but rather something to be avoided at all costs, which can create a culture of people who see getting old as taboo to talk about and confront. But it's not just the beauty standards and technology that can push people to transform their bodies and faces and take a stack of 40 different pills just to deny the reality of life. Some would also argue that it's the stress and other health issues too. One of those is sitting at your desk for 8 hours a day. If there is one area I think someone should optimize in their life, it is the ergonomics of their desk if you're spending like 8 hours a day there. How we sit undoubtedly plays a role in the pains we will feel in our body later on in life.
That's true, bro, because if you think about it, we haven't evolved to sit down, like. Have we evolved to sit down? No. How have we evolved to sleep? Will we evolve to sleep on our back? Because imagine you were sleeping on rocks or hay. Like sleeping to your side would be bare uncomfortable, your eyes and shit. I think we were meant to sleep on our backs. That's interesting.
And without it, you're prone to muscular imbalances and poor blood circulation. So that's why I want to talk about today's sponsor, what I'm sitting on right now, the Habata X7. It is not an automatically stands cool just full. The link in the first.
Bro.
If you're interested in receiving on a period of their youth than Gen Z is. Millennials were, on average, much more optimistic in a certain period of their youth than Gen Z is. This is portrayed in the many short-form clips I've been receiving on my feed about what millennial optimism looked like around 2014 to 2016. Even though millennials grew up in a time similar to the present, where America was still recovering from the housing crisis and college tuition was crazy, there was a general feeling that things were getting better and were going to continue to get better, especially in the dawn of the smartphone era. The culture of the internet and social media was fun and experimental.
Damn, bro, what were they on in 2013, bro? They were on something else, I can't even lie, bro. They were on something stupid, bro.
Contributing to these feelings of lightheartedness and hope. Though I do think some of this is just a romanticization of the past. We tend to cling to things that remind us of our innocence through low-quality pictures and videos. But if we contrast that to today, it's hard to think about what that romanticization, what that era is going to look like for Gen Z. It'll probably still happen, but Gen Z are reporting the highest levels of anxiety and depression of any generation, which I do think plays a part in looking older than you actually are. I don't think it's an over-exaggeration to say that Gen Z is experiencing an unprecedented amount of bad news.
Is this self-reported? Like, how do you measure something like that? I don't know. That's an interesting statistic, but it's like, yo, I need to know how it's measured, bro. Like, you can't just throw that out there.
At an extremely unnatural frequency. I keep bringing up this article and study, and I'll probably bring it up again, but this National Geographic article about doom scrolling cites a study which shows that watching a traumatic event through social media for a few hours a day evokes the same symptoms of PTSD as the individuals who were actually at the event. In fact, the ones who watched the event repeatedly on their phones experienced more symptoms. You gotta understand that our brains contain these things called mirror neurons. These are cells that fire not only when we perform an action, but also when we watch someone else perform that same action. In a sense, the brain responds as if we're doing the thing ourselves. So when we watch a horrific incident unfold, our mirror neurons react as if we are at the incident.
Oh my god, you know the people on X or Twitter, whatever the fuck, their brain must be fried, bro. I'm talking this black smoke coming out their ears, bro, like straight fried, bro.
Which causes that extreme distress you feel when you're looking at pixels on a screen that captured the incident. And then there's just everything else that they have to remove themselves from that has been psychologically engineered to keep you addicted and fatigued. Junk food, gambling being everywhere, bad news that makes the world seem worse than it is, but it also actually kind of is sometimes, bombarding their eyes with blue light instead of natural movement, these can all contribute to quicker aging. According to the CDC, from 2007 to 2013, just under 1/3 of teens reported getting at least 8 hours of sleep per night. In 2015, that number began to fall, and by 2019, only 22.1% of teens were meeting that threshold. These trends are inversely correlated with time spent on a computer and phone per day.
Yeah, bro, life is too fun now. Like, you go, shit is too fun. Like, just on your laptop, on your phone, sleep is so shit. Back in the day, I bet they were so happy to finally go to sleep, bro. But now it's like, bro, I can just fucking watch a movie or do shit online or do this or do that. Like, there's so much shit to do now.
day, which checks out based on what we know. Another study from 2025 wanted to measure the average number of hours slept per night among adolescents and how that affected their mental health. And they found that 16 to 18-year-olds on average report getting less than 6 hours of sleep per night, and that those who got less sleep on average reported much worse mental health outcomes. I think most of us know sleep.
Yeah, bro, I'll tell you it right now, bro. When you start sleeping like shit, you truly start feeling like shit. You start having shit thoughts, bro. You start feeling like shit. You stop feeling like yourself, bro. Sleep, food, work, and taking care of your body in general, bro. Like working out, bro. Getting enough sunlight, like shit like that matters so much. This is what actually makes you happy. Being healthy is how you become happy, bro. Not money, not anything else, bro. It can make things easier, and I say this all the time, bro. Money can make being healthy easier, but your number one priority is to live a healthy life because that's what's gonna make you happy, bro.
Is important, but I still think many of us vastly underestimate how important it is when it comes to long-term health. Gen Z are in the trenches of what I'd argue is the hardest psychological warfare any young generation has ever gone through, and that might start to reflect itself in their external appearance. But like a lot of this stuff, I don't want to definitively say that this is going to lead to Gen Z looking older, and I'll touch upon that a little bit more at the end of the video. Before I do that though, I want to address one final thing. The expectations that Gen Z hold for themselves and that older generations hold for them. Now, like I said previously, I think every young generation has a cohort of people who
I'll say right now, I don't think expectations are a bad thing. I think they truly can push some people. Like if you're expected to do something, you're obviously gonna like do it. What? Like if you have to be expected to do something shit. Like if you're not expected to do the assignment, you're not gonna do it, bro. Get what I'm saying?
scared of the idea of getting old, particularly when it comes to getting a job and having responsibilities, not just wrinkles. But there's also a sense that Gen Z aren't meeting the expectations of both their ancestors and what's being promoted on social media, causing more fear than necessary around growing old. For most of modern history, the expectations for what you should have accomplished by a certain age were pretty straightforward. People graduated high school, maybe went to college, got a job, got married, and bought a home. These milestones were treated as fixed checkboxes on a timeline that everyone was supposed to follow, and older generations still talk about them as if they're absolute truths rather than artifacts of a very specific economic window. But as most of us know, Gen Z inherited a very different reality. Wages stagnated while college tuition and house...
Okay, I'll say this, yeah, that is true, but seeing people online that are young, making hella money, doing hella moves, like hella motion, bro, like that motivates you. You expecting yourself to be successful at a young age, bro, that's something that truly motivates people. Like when I see someone who, with no ambition, that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy my first house at 35 and I'm gonna get married at this and I'm gonna do that, and just this traditional ass life with these realistic goals, bro. Having realistic goals is shit. Having realistic goals is so shit, bro. Because honestly, like, bro, how could you? You're never gonna surpass that. You're never gonna surpass your ambitions. Like, you want to have high ambitions. So if you want to aim for the stars. So if you fall, you land on the clouds, bro. I just fucking cooked, bro. I genuinely cooked. Like, no food was burnt, bro.
Prices skyrocketed. Entry-level jobs now demand 5 years of entry-level experience, and the idea of buying a home in your early 20s is so unrealistic that it's basically turned into a meme. But older people are telling them, when I was your age, I already had a house and 2 kids, and that gap between expectation and reality creates a ton of shame. Shame is one of the biggest drivers behind the fear of aging, because...
I truly was gonna say that, bro. One of the strongest emotions is shame. That's one of the strongest emotions, bro. Like, that's a fact, bro.
If you already feel behind at age 18, then every decade that precedes it is gonna feel like a deadline you're sprinting towards that you'll never be able to meet. And at the same time, Gen Z is bombarded with a completely different set of expectations that older generations didn't really have to deal with. The internet created an entirely new class of ultra-successful teenagers who earn more in a year than most people will see in a decade. The moment you open TikTok or YouTube, you're reminded that someone your age or younger has already made millions, or bought a penthouse, or founded a startup, or built an entire empire out of nothing but their charisma and an iPhone. And even if you logically know that these people represent a fraction of a percentage of the population, it's still gonna affect...
Bro, this is why I'm doing this shit, bro. It's because I'm seeing people making big moves. They're my age. They can do it, so why can't I, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, expectations are a good thing. You should expect the most of yourself. You should have high goals, bro. You should have expectations for yourself, like, genuinely. Don't be a guy that's like, oh, I have no ambitions, no goals, I don't expect to do anything. No, I expect to be fucking rich as hell, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying?
to you, because this is usually what's going to be promoted the most on social media as well. So now you have two competing pressures suffocating the generation from both sides. You have older people who are telling them that they're not hitting their milestones fast enough, while they also have younger people online telling them that they aren't hitting their milestones fast enough. And that can make getting older feel terrifying. I get it, okay? Not being able to recover as quickly after binge drinking on the weekends, or getting strange pains in your back or shoulders, and not being at the level of success you thought you'd be at by this age is scary. But if you let that fear guide your decisions, you will only carry more regrets by the time you get to the age that can actually be considered old. Be honest with yourself. At the end of your life, do you think you're going to look back and say, man, I wish I would have delayed my aging through artificial means? Do you think you're going to say, I wish I would have started a crypto scam and lived in a penthouse in LA with people who are barely my friends? Or are you going to say, I wish I would have allowed myself to age gracefully and used the natural process of aging for growth? You see,
Bro, this is straight copium, bro. This guy is coping hard, bro. Yo, you getting old, unk, bro. Like, you old as hell, bro. You unk, bro. He's trying to beat the allegations, bro. You kind of unk, bro.
aging and being old is not something to be afraid of. It is, as David Bowie put it, an extraordinary process where you become the person you always should have been.
Bro, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, the grass, bro. He said that literally he's not afraid of dying. Why? Because it makes life worth it. Because there's a specific finite amount of time. You have this finite amount of time. Don't age gracefully. Don't fucking, oh, I want this time to pass and fucking go by quickly and peacefully. No, you have a finite amount of time. Do something with it. You should feel pressure, bro. Pressure makes diamonds, bro. Shine bright like a... Bro, I sing so well, I don't want to get copyrighted. You get what I'm saying?
And if you impede upon that, either through endless facelifts, Botox, or ignoring responsibilities and burdens, you rob yourself of the unique development that is supposed to occur in every human. I'm not saying that all forms of delaying aging are inherently bad and that we shouldn't make strides to ensure that everyone feels healthier and is less prone to illness. What I am saying is that there will come a point where your body inevitably starts to give out. I'm 28 years old and I'm already experiencing a little bit of pain in my middle finger on my right hand from
It's because you're unk, bro. You unk, gang. You unk, bro. Like, this whole video is you coping, bro.
using my mouse too much. And I'll try to do what I can to stop that from happening or even reverse this pain. But I know there'll come a point where I can't use my hands in the way that maybe I could have when I was this age right now. And I've come to accept that. Why? Because at least I used these hands to create, to put myself through voluntary suffering and stress and push myself and carry burdens that ultimately led to me discovering who I was and what I'm capable of. Without taxing my body in that way, while of course...
Shit, bro. Hey, yo. I didn't know you was like that, bro. I take it back. God damn, bro.
Taking care of it through proper recovery, I would not be nearly as confident, purposeful, and fulfilled and at peace as I am today. All wisdom accrued in society is the result of the people who decided to maturate and do the things that aged them. But you somehow think that scar on your hip or that incoming wrinkle on your forehead or that 18-year-old online who sells courses about how to sell courses is indicative that time is running out for you and it's just over. No, you don't have forever. Your body will start slowing down one day. But accepting that fact while working to minimize its impact is what makes you resilient, not denying it for as long as possible. You shouldn't be terrified of growing old. You should be terrified of remaining the same. And one more thing, because I said I was going to bring it up even though it destroys the dramatic ending here. I do think that Gen Z looking older is being a little bit blown out of proportion. Yes, I think what I brought up about...
Bro, 100%. It's a baseless fucking bullshit that they had capitalized on because it makes people click on the article, bro. Like, no one actually, like... You're just a couple TikToks of a guy who's losing hair, bro. Like, come on.
The fear of aging and all these treatments being unnecessary is valid, but when I look at the majority of Gen Zers in real life that I engage with, all of them pretty much look their age. Don't let these media outlets, which highlight the more extreme cases of body dysmorphia and looks-maxing beauty, distort your perception of everyone who doesn't do all of these things, which is still the majority of Gen Z. Just do what you can to prevent illnesses and injuries, stay away from the intense beauty treatments and hacks in general, and don't be afraid to age. Let me know your thoughts on all this.
Don't be afraid to age, but be afraid of wasting your life, bro. I think that sums it up, man. Don't be afraid to age, but be afraid to waste your life. That'll be a video, man. I'll link his channel in the description. Subscribe to me, boys. You already know what it is. I post videos like this every day. And yeah, man, that's about it. See ya.